Hello, Paula. Hello, Susie. Good morning. Hello, Latiza. Ciao. Hello, Rose. Hello, Narita and Teresa. Okay, so today it's going to be very similar to yesterday. I'm going to go over the same thing, so it's kind of, it's just a duplicate for the most part from yesterday. And that's because there's 2 sessions a week. But I did want to show you, the neat thing about today is I'm going to show you what we did yesterday. So now I'm going to push the camera down so we can see here. And do that a little bit more. Okay, so this is what we did yesterday. Let me blow this up here. There we go. Okay, so this is what we did yesterday. We tested roughly, I think, 20 of the 36 PrimaTeks. So we'll be doing that again today. Hello, Misha, Sherry, Valerie. So we did this yesterday. We'll be doing the same thing again today, but now you just get to see what they are dry. So here's your Garnet, for example. Here is the Rhodonite, the Hematite, and then here we have the red and green fuchsite. This is our Kyanite. These are our 2 tiger's eye. This is tiger's eye and burnt tiger's eye. So again, we'll be doing all this again today. I just wanted to show you what they look like dry. This is our Lunar Black. This is our Tourmaline, green apatite. Okay, so we're doing the same thing again today. Hello, Vendetta from India. Very nice. So we have Misha from Russia. Hello, Johnny. So it's almost the world. We have Anna from Sweden. So I just wanted to show you, we're going to be looking at PrimaTeks today. And again, those are minerals that my geologist sources. And then I take those and make them into pigment and then turn the pigment into paint. And one of the unique things about the PrimaTeks is their granulating ability. And they granulate because they have differential specific gravity. So either they have different weights or different shapes or different sizes, and that causes them to granulate, with the heavier ones running to the bottom and the very, very light ones floating up on top, for example. And this is just synthetics that do it. So you can find it in the synthetic world. One of the more unique ones is the Lunar Black. And it's unique in that it is a single pigment, all having the same weight, the same shape, and the same size. And yet you get this really heavy granulation. So very unique. And I'm gonna put some yellow into this today so you can kind of see one of the other unique qualities of this particular color. This is the Lunar Violet. Again, heavy granulation. The Lunar Earth. So it doesn't need to be just the PrimaTeks, there are synthetics. This is Lunar Red Rock. Rare Green Earth. Again, you see rare green earth, high granulation. And this is Lunar Blue. We'll be painting out today, we'll paint out both the Lunar Blue and we'll paint out the Lunar Black just to see synthetics as compared to the PrimaTeks. Okay. So we have the Netherlands. We have Siegfried from Germany. We have Thailand. Hello, Ankh from Thailand. We have neighbor to the north of me, which is Canada. NB is New Brunswick. Very, very beautiful place. And we also have Nikki from Canada. Very beautiful. Okay. So let's go ahead and start. And I thought today, this week, would just be more of a kind of a fun time. So we'll just kind of play a little bit. So when I talk about the PrimaTeks, I'm talking about these colors right here. The rhodonites, the purpurites, the fuchsites, the kingmen, the garnets, the jasper, this right here. These are minerals that then I use those minerals and turn them into pigment. And I'll be showing you some of the pigments, some of the minerals today. And there's 36 of them. Okay. The newest one was the red jasper from India. Oh, so Nikki, I don't know. In terms of glazes, there's Giovanni that's normally on, George Politis. They would know those answers. I wouldn't know that because I don't practice art. Okay, so let's start with we're going to start with Tiger's Eye. So when I show you the drawdowns, and this is a drawdown, and I get these from my chemist. Every time my chemist is going to make a batch, a new color, produce the color again, more specifically, he creates a drawdown. And these drawdowns are 1 part paint to 10 parts distilled water. Hello, Tarun. Great to see you. And what he does then, he or she, I have several chemists, they will go ahead and present this card into this machine right here called a photospectrophotometer. And this thing right here comes out, it's on a hinge, and they put the card there and they close this back onto it, and then it'll give a digital readout of the color. Okay, so that's where I get these. And there's Tiger's Eye here, and there's burnt Tiger's Eye here. Tiger's Eye comes in one thing. This is Tiger's Eye. So this is polished, and this is just unpolished. You can kind of see unpolished versus polished. And polished, it makes a beautiful, beautiful semi-precious stone that's made into rings and cabochons, for example, because it's just beautiful. It looks like a tiger's eye. And if you take this and put it into a furnace and go up to about 700 degrees, you would get this right here, which is burnt tiger's eye. And that's because we changed the oxidation state, and now it turns red. So this is not found in nature. This is by putting this tiger's eye into a furnace, heating it, and changing the oxidation state. So it goes from this to this. Very similar to burnt siennas, burnt ochres, etc. Same kind of process. All right? So tiger's eye and burnt tiger's eye. And we will I put those colors here. So we're going to take a little while. We're going to draw those down so you can actually see what they look like. Ah. Hello, George. So if you have any questions about for painting with the PrimaTeks, George is a master. Giovanni does it. Stella. They can answer almost any question coming to how you'd use it from an art standpoint. George's work is actually quite beautiful. Okay. This is Lapis. And Lapis looks like this. Lapis is a very light color. Even at 80% pure, this is about $4,000 a kilo, so it's 80% pure. 90% pure be between probably about $20,000 a pound. It's unbelievably expensive. And I'm going to show you today, I'm going to show you the lapis here. I'm going to show you the lapis. And I'm going to show you its synthetic counterpart. The synthetic counterpart is the French ultramarine. Okay. I may lose you today. We've had really bad windstorms here, and I hear my UPS in the background beeping, so we're getting fluctuations in electricity. If I do, I'll try to come right back, but it'll just take the time for the servers to come back on. Okay, so that's lapis. We will see this today. I'm asked what's one of the more expensive minerals, and one of the more expensive minerals is the rhodonite. And it's the rhodonite because the rhodonite, this mineral right here, rhodonite, is a semi-precious stone. And what I do is I buy the pieces that the jewelry maker really can't use, because I would get rid of all this stuff and just keep this piece here. And they don't take the time to do that. So what is not so much usable for the jewelry trade is very usable for me. And again, this is rhodonite. And we will see this today as well. So I'll put that here. Oh, I'm going to do this. This might give you a little bit of a, let me show you what I'm doing here. So what I did is I have all of my minerals over here on this table. I set those up to show you today. So there's all the minerals with the drawdowns, and that's what I've been reaching over here from the side to grab. If I was doing a presentation with you, you could all come up and grab them and feel them. I know that's always important. It's important for me. But there, I leave them out so we can look at them today. And we'll go through roughly half of them today. So I'm going to put this camera back, bring this back down again, bring this back, and then we'll continue. Oop, that's blinding. Okay, so the next one I wanted to show you is garnet. And this is garnet. Very pretty color. You see there's not a huge amount of granulation with garnet, and that's because it's such a pure mineral. Let me try to get that. There we go. It's such a pure mineral. Try to get the perfect place here. There we go. So here's what it looks like when it's in, this is in matrix. So these are the garnet pieces. And this is called garnet in matrix. And then I'll get rid of all the matrix and just keep the garnet pieces. Okay, so that's one way it comes in. We also source it as just large crystals. That's a single crystal. Here's a tube. So kind of a size comparison, it's actually quite large. It's a pretty large piece. And then we get them even larger. So this is even larger. That's almost the size of the whole tube. And this is garnet. So garnets come in different sizes. And if this were, perfect, like this one here, you can see a lot of the faces of the crystal. If they had perfect crystals, it would be jewelry grade. But it doesn't matter so much for me because I'm going to process it down into particle size, about 40 microns. Okay. And this is what then it's going to end up looking like. So we'll end up looking at that one today. This is Sedona, and Sedona comes from Arizona. It comes right next to, Sedona is red rock country. This is actually Sedona. So Sedona is red rock country. Have you ever heard about that in Arizona, red rock? It's a gorgeous place, very peaceful, very spiritual. So that's Sedona, Arizona. And then if you've seen the Grand Canyon, that's Yavapai County, and this is Yavapai. So Yavapai and Sedona, both within probably 10 miles of each other. I could find the two sources. And I picked this up when I was visiting my father in Cottonwood, Arizona, where he had retired. And I thought it was very beautiful. I brought it down, and Ron and I played with it, and then we ended up making colors from it, and then finding a mineralogist in Arizona to purchase the minerals from. Okay, so we've been looking at these today. That is Sedona, and that is Yavapai. Okay. This is another one. Excuse me just a moment. My electricity just, I have to redo my circuit breakers. Technology is wonderful, but it's based a lot of it on electricity, and I've been just taking hits all day today. So here we have two turquoise. And people ask me all the time about the naming of these. This is called Kingman, so this is Kingman, and it comes from Arizona, as does a Sleeping Beauty. Both come from Arizona. This comes from the Kingman Mine, located in Arizona. And this comes from the Sleeping Beauty mine, located in Arizona. They're not that far apart from each other, and the reason there's a different color is because what elements are around them when these two minerals are formed. Okay? And that's why they have different colors. And we'll be looking at both of those today. Okay, so here's three additional ones. This is Purprite, and Purprite, I'll see if you can see this. You can kind of see it on the sides. It's where it's really oxidized. It's actually, you can rub that off. So just over time, it'll constantly do that as it oxidizes. You can see that purple. The whole rock is purple, but this is just where it's oxidizing. You can actually take that off and put it on the end of your finger. You can see it on my finger right there. I can't, okay, there we go. I can't figure out how to do that. There we go. I gotta figure out how to invert these images so I don't look so foolish not being able to figure it out. But there it is right there. It's oxidized, comes to the top really easy. But the whole rock is purple. It's very beautiful. And this is Piemontite. Piemontite, really pretty color. Beautiful mineral. Very, looks almost like a leather. Very pretty. And then this one is extremely popular. This is green apatite. So green apatite. Very granulating color. And again, these are 1 to 10, 1 part paint by weight to 10 parts distilled water by weight mixed up, and then my chemist does a wash, cleans off the brush, does the same thing, starts here, and then goes all the way to the end. So you can kind of see the different variants in the color as you go from straight off the brush as it gets more pigment, less pigment comes out, I guess you'd say it that way. And so this right here, green apatite, you can see the faces. Those are all flat because those are faces, right? Those are faces. And then this right here is Terminator, where they come up and it terminates. Those are the faces coming up like that. So there we go. That's what it looks like. That's a terminated piece of green apatite. For me, it doesn't matter that it looks like it's been beat up, because I'm gonna process it down into particle size to make the paint. So wouldn't work for the jewelry trade or for the specimen trade, certainly works for us. And I feel really good that we're able to take something that would be discarded, because it is quite beautiful, that would be discarded, and we can make it into something that's extremely usable for the artist. It feels good. And so we will look at those today. Let me see. So Melody says all three of those are on her palette. George can't explain how much he loves the PrimaTek. If you want to look at someone's work, George just does marvelous work using the PrimaTeks. He does marvelous work with using synthetics as well. He's a great artist, but he really is a good person, good artist to look at in terms of how the PrimaTeks are used. As is Giovanni. Okay, and then I'm going to show this. I want to show this. Show this. 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 Okay. Okay. So these right here, let me flip these around so you can see them and read them. Now with the Lunar Black and with the Hematite, they're iron oxides. You can get a magnet, and as long as it's in solution, you can go under and move the particles around on your paper. If I can remember what I did with my magnet, I would show that to you. If I don't show it to you this week, I will show it to you next time. So here what we have is we have the Sodalite, very beautiful mineral. And we will use every part of that Sodalite. And that's what the Sodalite looks like. It's really pretty. Really pretty. And this is the Kyanite. Now the Kyanite, people ask me, John, why does it sparkle? It has sparklies in it. And it has sparklies, but they're natural. It's called mica, and it's naturally occurring. And let me see if I can show you that. I mean, it is just full of mica. Not as much as the fuchsite, but boy, it's full. And it's neat that it's a very long, the crystals of this are long crystals. Let's see if you can see that. They're very long crystals. So it goes this way. This is the bottom, this is the top. It goes this way. They're very long crystals. And you can see how much that has in there. It's just full of it. Okay. And then this is hematite. And we have several different types of hematite, several different varieties. We have burnt scarlet, so several type of hematites. So bloodstone is also a hematite. It's not called hematite, but bloodstone is an iron oxide. Heme, just like hemoglobin is, red. So hematite, very heavy, very, very, very dense. Okay. And I'll show you bits and bits. So we're going to do 3 more, then we're going to have some fun. You can see on this desk, I don't know if you can see this or not, let me see. You can see where I had the fuchsite get onto my desk. So that must be like I'm sure your work areas as well, where there's paint gets everywhere. Okay, so this is fuchsite, and this is red fuchsite, and this is green fuchsite. And boy, you can see the particles. I don't know if you can see it on my paper. Can you see it? No. Yeah, a little bit. You can see a little bit in here where it flakes off. It's just full of mica. Loaded with mica. And this is the last one we'll look at. It's going to be the Tourmaline. So let me show you those. So black tourmaline, green fuchsite, red fuchsite. And the reason that these, you can see all those particles. People say, well, is that glitter? No, that's actually mica. And you can see it's just full of mica, just full, loaded with mica. It's a very gentle mineral. I could break this with my hands. And then this is the green. Again, just loaded with mica. We will do the kyanite and the fuchsites last, because when I put these in the water, the mica will float to the top, and it'll make the rest of my paints have that sparkle. And so I'm going to do these last. That way, once they're in the water, it's no big deal. Okay, so there's those. And then this is the black tourmaline. So the Lunar Black, for example, is a synthetic. If you wanted a natural black, a mineral black that comes from a mineral, the black tourmaline is the way to go. And this specimen right here, again, you can see the crystal, right? See the crystal? These are the faces. Right here are the faces. And then they come up and they terminate up here. I can't really show that to you. I don't know how to get the angle. There we go. There's an angle. So that's a face right there, and that's a face right there, and then so that's 2 parts of the face. This part of it's been kind of destroyed. Okay, so they're actual crystals. And we have a series of equipment that we can take this down and so Debbie, there shouldn't be, so Webkey asked about the dot card and the kyanite. It's really how much, I'm really putting quite a bit of paint out here, but it's how much water that you use can be one of the issues, and we'll go over that as we go forward. So Melody, black tourmaline is like Lunar Black, but not as harsh. Yes. And it's a natural versus a synthetic. So the Lunar is a synthetic. Okay, so now that this has mica all over it, okay. Well, that side was kind of bad. All right, so let's do some. And let's look at the Lunar Black, and let's look at the Lunar Blue. That's Lunar Black. Lunar blue. Okay. Get that all over my hands. So Lunar Black. I was going to try to find a palette today because this paper is quite thirsty. Okay, and there's Lunar Blue. So let me show you something. I was like, kind of like doing this. How about this? Hands. This is hands of yellow. So the interesting thing is about Lunar Black is the black will move away from the yellow. So it's not like a lamp black, for example, that would just go ahead and cover up that yellow. Because of the nanoparticles, it will actually move. It'll actually move away. You can kind of see it down here. Then I can put more in here. Really mix that black up, and you'll see that it still won't overcrowd that yellow. Just one of the interesting things. And over here, I can mix it in. I can mix in that black, get quite a bit of it, and I can mix it in, and it's going to break away. And the longer you let it sit, the more it's going to break away, because those particles, those lunar black particles, do not want to be with each other. See that? It's actually quite interesting. I like that, Mary. I have some porcelain plates. That's a really good idea. Anyway, I just think that's really kind of cool. So that's the Lunar Blue and the Lunar Black, and then the Lunar Black with yellow. Now it doesn't have to be yellow. It could be other things. Lunar Blue and Blue Apatite. I don't think I have Blue Apatite out, or I would show you. Okay, so next color. Let's look at Lapis. I got yellow in my Lapis. Okay. There we go. So Lapis is that baby blue. It's that really light blue, very light. So let me show you the counterpart. And so probably most of you know that French ultramarine and ultramarine are the synthetic versions of Lapis. And whereas this one's roughly $2,000 a pound, this one's $2,000 a pound. Even though we process it, that's what it costs when we're done all our processing. This right here is about $9 a kilo. $9 a kilo. And when you go to museums, you'll see it really this blue. And you just have to remember that at the time that was being done, lapis was the same price as gold. So it was only the very, very wealthy, or the church, or the state was doing it. So if you want something super, super blue, you don't want to spend the money for lapis at $20,000 to $30,000 a pound. You want to use the synthetic. This just harkens back to painting with real lapis. I mean, you're painting with real lapis. And there's a reason why the Ultramarine and the French Ultramarine are my favorite. They're just so beautiful as a blue. So I just wanted to show you both, because people will come up to me many times and they'll say, I bought lapis and it's this blue. I will tell you, unless you spent $300 or $400 for a tube of paint, you didn't buy lapis this blue. It was PB29 that you were buying. And nothing wrong with that. Beautiful color. Beautiful, beautiful color. But it's not lapis. Okay. And see kind of down here, see how much that's moved away? The yellow just pushes. It's not really the yellow pushing the black, it's the black running away. So really quite interesting characteristic of the Lunar Black. A different, because of co-precipitation with the Cascade Green that we'll see later when we play with that one. Different type of effect. Give me a piece of paper here. Okay. So done with those. Done with those. Okay, so red fuchsia I want to do last, green fuchsia I want to do last, and kyanite I'm going to do last. Okay, so let's do tiger's eye and burnt tiger's eye, and then we'll do Sedona and Yavapai. So this is going to be tiger's eye, and this is burnt tiger's eye, burnt tiger's eye, Yavapai, yeah, I must say I really enjoy playing with paint. I love the color. I'm just amazed we're in January. Last year moved so quickly. And it's nice when it's here in Seattle, when it's gray. It's so nice to see color. So Raffaele, it's the mineral itself. So lapis, when you mill lapis, it takes a lot of product and then concentrating it. So that's the tiger's eye. It just takes a lot of material. It's different, for example, than the pipestone, which it takes very little. Or the Sedona, where it takes very little. Some minerals they're very light when you process them, and that's why they're so expensive. Is it takes so much product to constantly condense it down, and condense it down. You don't find it. There's not an 80% mineral and a 90% mineral. It's just how many times you have to process it to get it to that place. Okay, so this was tiger's eye, and this is burnt tiger's eye. kind of want to try to get to these before they dry, because okay, tiger's eye, burnt tiger's eye. So Mary, that's right. Mary says too expensive to add a lot of the pigment. It's the more pigment. So if we added more pigment, it's not going to change the color. It is the density. It's condensing it more and more that gets there, and that just becomes more and more expensive. And we found very few people would want to spend, $180 or $200 for a tube of paint. Some would, because it's. I mean, if it's your passion, but it'd be very, very few. And again, it becomes kind of the why, because you can use if you want to really that saturation, you could use the French Ultramarine or the Ultramarine, the synthetic versions. Okay, Sedona, and this right here is Yavapai. So Yavapai, Sedona. So tiger's eye, burnt tiger's eye, Yavapai, Sedona. Okay. So let's try the Garnet, and we'll try the Sodalite. How are we doing on time? We're doing pretty good. I just know all of you are different time zones, and some of you are waiting for supper, so I always try to be very conscientious of the time. So what I'll be doing now is, this one is Garnet, this one's going to be Garnet, this one right here is going to be Sodalite, and then let's do a Piemontite. And let's do a Rhodonite. Okay. Rhodonite is very, very, very pure. Look and see how that Sedona is running into the Garnet. I hope I call that Garnet. This is Garnet. Hello, Allison. Okay, and this one here is going to be Sodalite. So that's Sodalite with a little bit of Garnet inside of it, I guess. and that's Piemontite. So that granulation of the sodalite is just, to me, beautiful. It's just so awesome. And you'll see that its counterpart next to it, the garnet, very little granulation going on because it's such a, the pigment is all about the same size, the same shape, the same weight, and it's all, there isn't any other material in it. For example, if we look at the sodalite, you can see that it's just not all, it has other things inside of it, and we leave those. Whereas the garnet, it's just garnet. So that's really gorgeous granulation. This is the Piemontite, and then this last one, so as we continue on, we'll go over the different families. We'll go over the parylene, we'll go over the pyrroles, we'll go over the cadmiums, we'll go over the quinacridones. Those are going to be, a lot of those are going to be, for the most part, the synthetics. We'll go over ochres and siennas, and ochres and siennas can be both natural or synthetic, depending. But these PrimaTeks are all natural. There we go. So that is the rhodonite. Okay. The majority of the garnets that we use come from India. All right, so, and when they dry, they're going to look, you can see the granulation, really highly granulated. Looks different here in front of me than it does on the screen. You can actually see the burnt structure here. It looks quite light on the screen for whatever reason. Yesterday it seemed like it was doing a much better job. Maybe it's like that, maybe that's better. No, not really. Yeah, because this is much more pink here than it is on the screen. So I don't know how to fix that. Maybe like that. Maybe there, that looks better. Not perfect, but better. Oh, we'll look at that again. So there's that. Before I go on to the next one set, there's that Lunar Black. Pretty cool. All right. Now, so we did this one, this one, this one, and this one. All right. Let me show you this is going to be Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty. How am I going to make you see that? Sleeping Beauty. And this one is Kingman. So these are both turquoise. Green Apatite. Again, probably one of the top granulators. Purpurite. And black Tourmaline. Okay. So, oh, my brush still had some rhodonite in it. Okay. Sleeping Beauty. And this one is going to be Kingman. Okay. Sleeping Beauty, Kingman. Green Apatite. Put some more water in the green apatite for you. Really pretty. Make that go down and give you more of an image of what it looks like. Okay. Sleeping Beauty and Rhodonite make a lovely purple. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Sleeping Beauty, and this is Rhodonite. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, very nice. And we'll come that brush off again. Okay, that is the Purpurite. Purpurite. And then this is the Black Tourmaline. Black Tourmaline. Very neat. Okay, let's see. So we have 3 more. Just use a new piece of paper. And that is, we're going to see the red fuchsite. Maybe I'll use a bigger brush. And we're going to see green fuchsite. And we're going to see kyanite. What I'll do is use a bigger brush. The reason I'm doing these last is because all 3 of them have a mica content. So you'd expect them to have a little bit of a sparkle to them. I find that if I put that into the water, and I'll show you the water in a second, what it does to the water, it can get into your other paints. So either have another brush or clean your brush in separate water so you don't get that mica getting onto your paints. Probably not the end of the world, it's just kind of a heads up. Okay, so let's do this. Let's just use a bigger brush. And the thing with mica, it's like shingles on your house. You have to wake it up. Lauren says, wake up the paint, because that mica packs really tight. It's like the luminescent colors. Okay, so there's that's the red fuchsite, and then I'll hold it up as it dries. And this is then the kyanite. Kyanite. So that's kind of, I don't know if you can see that a little bit. You can see floating on the top of that sheen is the mica. It's just a ton of mica. You can see it moving around there. It's kind of moving this way. Kind of see it. That's just a ton of mica. And then I put it in this water too. And you can see all, it's hard to see, but boy, it's just huge amounts of particles of mica. So if you didn't use separate water and you went and after using one of these paints you put this in and then did Hematite, you'll put mica into the Hematite. So just a heads up, not the end of the world, just a heads up. So there's our red fuchsite, green fuchsite, kyanite. And let me take that up here. You can kind of see, as it dries, so here's from yesterday. Here's the kyanite. You can see the sparkles in the kyanite. That's the mica. Here's the green fuchsite and the red fuchsite from yesterday. And if I hold it to the light, you can see it had the mica. What I did yesterday is I wanted to show just that thing that we had been talking about, staining, non-staining. Oh. We had talked about this a couple of weeks ago, staining versus non-staining. And so I just wanted to play around a little bit and see with a brush, for example, with the kyanite, could I remove it? Okay. So I wanted to thank all of you for being with me today. Let me put this up here so I can see you. I want to thank all of you for being with me today, and many of you for months and months. So thank you so much. I wish you health for you and your family, and look forward to seeing you next week. Again, if there's any questions, please let me know what those questions are. You can, even though I shut this or end this session, you can go back in and leave comments. You can leave comments at the customer service site, and I'll answer those next time. If they have application to everybody, I'd like everybody to hear the same information because it's always really good information. If I see it only kind of is pertinent to you, then I'll answer directly back to you. Thank you for being with me. I appreciate it. You've been great. Thank you. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.